On December 16, 1909, after several months aboard a ship, an American couple, Frank and Lula Ferguson, arrived at the port of Buenos Aires. They had sold their home in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and taken that money for buying the tickets for becoming the first missionary couple in Argentina, my homeland. For 4 years, they lived without receiving any help, no salary, no world mission support, no benefits, nothing. But they shared Christ through the distribution of Bibles. They opened up in a house to have some evangelistic gatherings, some services, and also preaching in the parks. One day, preaching in a park in the city of Buenos Aires, in the Belgrano neighborhood, an immigrant, a young mother, Josefa, got saved. And immediately in that neighborhood, the Fergusons opened up a Sunday school. So Josefa brought his little kid, Felipe, 8-year-old boy back then. Felipe had a great Sunday school teacher who at the end of the class asked him, "Felipe, would you like to pray for Jesus cleaning up your heart?" Felipe said, "Yes, I want to." And the Sunday school teacher prayed with him, and Felipe got saved that day. But Felipe brought his 2 sisters to Sunday school, and they also got saved. And finally, he invited over and over his dad, and a stubborn Spaniard. And finally, he came to church and got saved. And all that family changed forever. Felipe grew up and grew up and grew up and met a lady named Inez, got married, and they raised 6 children, all of whom had formed Christian families. I am one of them. Felipe was my dad. Felipe passed away a few years ago in Buenos Aires. The Lord allowed me being there with him before he passed away. He was 88 years old. He left me the best legacy, 80 years walking with the Lord, 80 years being faithful to the Lord. Do you think the Fergusons knew that that young mother, that immigrant, not very well educated, that got saved that day in the park, a grandson of her would be a global missionary in the Church of the Nazarene 90 years later? I don't think so. The only thing he did was be faithful, and the Lord did the rest. You know, the Lord always does the rest if we are faithful. But we need to be faithful. We need to do our part. Do you think that Sunday school teacher knew that all the 6 children and 14 grandchildren of that 8-year-old boy would be all committed Christians 90 years later? I doubt it. I don't think so. Again, the only thing he did was be faithful. He believed it was worth it to pray with that little boy that Sunday morning. and the Lord did the rest. And I tell you, I praise the Lord for that Sunday school teacher. Because of him, I am here today. My father was an evangelist since he was a little kid. But even when he was more than 80 years, he held an evangelistic family group at his house. He never stopped evangelizing. The children are agents of evangelism. So it will depend on us if we are going to developing them, rooting them, and sending them. My dad passed the torch to the next generation. I am trying to do the same with my kids and grandkids. Our younger son, when he was 5 years old, he was around in the church when we were pastors there in Buenos Aires, and we didn't realize he was listening when we were teaching Evangelism Explosion from Dr. James Kennedy in our local church. So to make the story short for you, one day a teacher from the kindergarten called me and said to me, "Listen, sir, your kid is talking about the Bible with all the mates in the kindergarten. That is not possible. This is not Christian kindergarten." Very interesting. Today, he, as well as his younger brother, both of them are youth pastors in the Church of the Nazarene. God is not a problem. God has given gift to our children to be agents of evangelism to this world. The question is, what will we do?